silence will keep it alive forever.
The maximum security visiting room was silent. Myles Connor sat with the relaxed posture of a man hosting a business meeting. Agent Moreau placed a single photograph on the table, the empty frame where Rembrandt's seascape once hung. Connor glances at the photo, then back at Alicia. A slow smile spreads across his face. Alicia's stone-cold expression. She doesn't blink.
Let's talk about ghosts, Myles.
You have nothing to charge me with.
Connor began, spreading his hands.
I was a guest of the state when your museum had its unfortunate emptying.
Connor leans back, making a show of his incarceration. Alicia remains still.
I'm not here to charge you. I'm here to understand an artist's greatest work.
The word artist made Connor's eyes glitter. Alicia had found the key.
The Gardner job. Crude in execution, but brilliant in conception. A performance.
Alicia notes his proprietary gesture. He's emotionally connected to the crime.
I recruited 2 ham-fisted kids from Charlestown. The fake mustaches, a deliberate theatrical flourish.
He spun a tale of 2 ham-fisted kids from Charlestown, recruited by a middleman he claimed to have known. He described the fake mustaches not as a mistake, but as a deliberate theatrical flourish. Alicia mentally cross-references this with known Charlestown criminals from the era.
The Brains was a man who appreciated systems.
Connor said,
Not art. He saw a museum not as a temple, but as a machine with flaws. He found the one loose bolt. I called him the machinist.
Alicia's writes, the machinist, systems thinker, in her notebook.
Why take the finial? The beaker?
Alicia pressed. Connor laughed.
To prove it wasn't about the money. It was about taking. The most valuable and the most trivial, it was all the same to him. That was the joke on everyone.
Alicia shifted.
Where did it go, Myles?
Oh, it traveled. First stop? Probably a locker in South Boston. A boat to Montreal.
Then?
A free port. Luxembourg. Maybe Geneva.
Alicia demanded, her patience thinning. Connor feigned hurt.
Give me a name I can't find in an Interpol file.
I'm giving you the poetry of the thing, Agent. You're asking for the plumbing.
The two stare at each other, the game laid bare. Alicia realizes his entire goal is to be interviewed, to become part of the legend, not to solve it.
The DNA is coming.
Alicia said, bluffing about progress on the duct tape.
When it matches one of your ham-fisted kids, your value as a storyteller vanishes. You'll just be another old convict.
A flicker of genuine surprise, then calculation in Connor's eyes. For the first time, Connor looks at her not as an audience, but as a threat.
One true thing.
Connor leaned forward, his voice dropping.
The machinist was dying. Cancer. This wasn't a score for a retirement fund. It was a final masterpiece. A man who can't be bought or threatened. How do you find a ghost who wanted to become a myth?
Alicia searches his face for deceit. This rings true, and it's terrifying. The interview ended. Alicia left with pages of notes that amounted to a beautifully written dead end. Connor had woven himself into the tapestry of the mystery permanently. Alicia walks down the sterile prison corridor, the heavy door clanging shut behind her. Her frustration is mixed with a strange respect for the psychological game she just lost. Back at headquarters, Alicia changed tactics.
Forget Connor. We go backwards. We find the buyer. Someone commissioned this. Someone with a taste for specific, untraceable masterpieces.
The evidence board is cleared of mobsters. New headings appear. Private collectors, oligarchs, arms dealers. Alicia's team, weary but rallied by a new angle. A decade-old memo surfaced from Swiss authorities, flagging inquiries in 1992 from a Liechtenstein holding company about the legal acquisition of cultural artifacts without provenance. The memo, in German, with key phrases highlighted. A junior analyst points it out. the first spark of a paper trail. The holding company led to another, then a trust in the Cayman Islands. Each was a Russian doll of anonymity, a trail designed to dissolve. It confirmed a sophisticated, wealthy end buyer, but revealed nothing else. Alicia pins the flowchart to the board. It's evidence of a ghost, not a path to one. Years later, the promised DNA advance became real. A partial profile from the crime scene tape was entered into genealogical databases. It yielded no direct match, but a constellation of distant cousins in New England and Italy. A DNA helix spins on a lab computer screen, connected to a map with dots for relatives. An older, grayer Alicia receives the report. The cold case is no longer frozen. Investigators built a vast family tree from the DNA, narrowing the search to a few possible lineages. It pointed away from the Boston mob and toward a more diffuse, perhaps international, background. A sprawling genealogical chart on a digital screen. The focus shifts from criminal networks to anonymous family branches. One branch led to a family with ties to petty crime in Philadelphia in the 80s. A son, Carmine Merlino, had been a suspect in other thefts. He was a match for the muscle, not the mind. Finally, a possible name for one of the two men in uniform. By the time they identified Merlino as a person of interest, he had been dead for years. A motorcycle accident. Another ghost. A death certificate from 2005. The familiar weight of a dead end settles on the team. The internet era birthed 1,000 theories. The art was buried. It was in a vault in Japan. It was destroyed. The empty frames became a cultural Rorschach test, everyone seeing their own version of the truth. Dr. Finch, now very old, reads a wild theory in a newspaper and sighs. The gardener never moved the frames. They became the museum's most powerful exhibit, a monument to loss and resilience. New security, worth millions, was installed around the emptiness. A laser grid now sweeps over the empty frames in the dark Dutch room. A new generation of guards stands watch, trained on this one haunting story. Alicia Moreau retired. The case was the one splinter she could never remove. In her quiet study, she kept a replica of the empty Rembrandt frame on the wall. Alicia, in civilian clothes, sips tea and looks at the replica. The professional intensity is gone, replaced by a permanent, quiet contemplation.
We solved everything but the answer.
She tells a documentary filmmaker.
We knew the how. We guessed the why. But the where, that belongs to the shadows.
She has made peace with the mystery. A rumor emerges from the underworld that the machinist did die, and the secret of the location was passed to a single, estranged heir. An heir who is either too scared or too loyal to ever come forward. A shadowy figure, the hypothetical heir, looks at a sealed envelope, then burns it. This theory offers the last faint hope that the secret is still alive on Earth. The museum's offer stands in perpetuity, immunity and reward for the art's return. Every few years, a lawyer makes a vague inquiry that goes nowhere. The waiting is a permanent state, the official reward poster faded and reprinted over the decades. The current museum director looks at the poster, wondering if it will ever be taken down. Myles Connor dies in prison. His obituary leads with notorious art thief connected to Gardner Heist. He got the legacy he wanted. A newspaper headline with Connor's charming mugshot. Alicia reads the obituary and closes her eyes. The last living thread to that night is cut. The why now matters more than the who. Was it a perfect crime for money, for glory, for the sheer sublime act of theft? The motive is the final unsolvable masterpiece. The three empty frames are shown in extreme close-up, one after the other. The viewer is left to decide. The empty frames have become icons, more famous than most paintings that are still on walls. They represent the ultimate what if. They are a void that somehow holds more than any image could. Artists' renditions of the empty frames appear in modern art galleries. Culture has absorbed the mystery and made it its own. A young FBI agent, new to the art crime team, is given the Gardner file as a rite of passage. She opens it, staring at the same photos Alicia once did. Fresh eyes look at the crime scene photo from 1990. The cycle begins anew. The case is her puzzle now. The camera pulls back from the Gardner Museum at night. It looks peaceful, whole. The public sees a palace of art, but we know that at its heart, in the silent Dutch room, hangs a perfect, beautiful emptiness. A wide, beautiful shot of the illuminated museum facade. Hold for a long moment. The institution endures. The mystery endures. Some stories don't have endings. They have eternally blank pages. The Gardner Heist is one of them. The frames are empty. The case is open. And the world is left with a single enduring question mark, painted not in oils, but in shadow and silence. The story is handed to the audience, forever unfinished. For 30 years, the frames have been empty. For 30 years, the question has remained. Some mysteries aren't meant to be solved, they're meant to be remembered. This is where the search ends, and the legend begins. If you want to explore more of history's greatest unsolved stories, subscribe to Amoura Stories. A new mystery is waiting. Thank you for joining the investigation.